Lots of comments. Happy Sunday, everybody. Was reading another one of my maintenance of certification articles, which was a clinical expert series on neurologic emergencies in pregnancy. And it did point out two of the, I would say, most common tricky things about neurologic differences and especially neurologic emergencies in pregnancy. Well, of course, they're rare, so it's unusual, but that also means that it's something that we can forget or not think about as much. And our number one diagnosis and thing that I see all the time, right, that makes you have a headache, might make you have a seizure, could lead to a stroke, is preeclampsia, right? So the great mimicker of all neurologic differences pretty much is preeclampsia and eclampsia in the case of a seizure. So I would say that that's one of the biggest things, is that I always assume first and consider first eclampsia, preeclampsia as the diagnosis, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be doing a CT or MRI in order to look for stroke or other differences, right, depending on the presenting symptom. And that was another thing that the article really pointed out, was that prompt, aggressive, both imaging and treatment are super important time is brain with these women as well. And also these kind of emergencies, although with the exception of seizure, generally aren't going to lead to hemodynamic instability of mom so much as they are going to lead to other maybe neurologic manifestations. And they're not usually going to affect the fetus. But if mom, has serious brain damage from this stroke that we didn't treat because we thought maybe it's preeclampsia, maybe we should try MAG, we need to see how baby is first, that's not appropriate. And that can lead people to, death or disability because of our lack of treatment. I also would say that when you've diagnosed preeclampsia, that's another thing, is that's not the end of the story, right? The risk of stroke is much higher in those patients, and it does affect about 30 in 100,000. That's what I thought, 30 in 100,000 pregnancies. So it's rare, but it's not zero, and it's not impossible that especially undertreated or even treated preeclampsia, you have a much higher risk of stroke and should work up symptoms, especially of neurologic deficits, more rapidly.